Hi, and welcome to episode 59 of the Noble Character Crafts podcast. My name is Amy, and I am coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live on a farm with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, March 22nd, 2019. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. You can find me online on Instagram and Etsy at Noble Character Crafts. You can find me on Ravelry at Noble Character, and I also have a group for this podcast on Ravelry under Noble Character Crafts Podcast. In that group, you will be able to find the show notes for this episode as well as previous episodes and several other chatter threads. You can also get in contact with me through my email at noblecharactercrafts@yahoo.com, and I will have links to all of the places that you can find me in the description box below. This is a podcast all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and hand-dyed yarn to share with you all. Back on my dress form in the background is the Tobermory shawl that is a design by Helen Stewart, and that was the first, I consider it my first shawl that I ever made. That I ever knitted, I should say. The first knitted project that I made was a shawl as well, made out of super chunky, bulky weight yarn. And that was a great first project. I forget the name of that, but I do know that it was a design by Destiny Meyer of Nifty Knittings. And that was a great first project, and I only started knitting a little over 2 years ago. So anyway, that was a great first project. I actually ended up giving that shawl away to my niece. And then this was the next shawl that I made, and it was made using, I believe, DK weight yarn. I used 100% alpaca yarn, and they're both, the gray and the cream colors are both natural undyed yarns. Anyway, I remember as I was making that shawl that I was very nervous making it because it was the first time I had ever done a very, a more difficult knitted pattern, and I was so afraid that I was going to make a mistake, but I don't think I made any horrible mistakes anyway. It turned out really well for one of my first projects, so I'm very happy with that. I don't wear it a lot because I really can't stand having alpaca around my neck, which is unfortunate, but I can't bear to give it away because it's just special to me, and there's actually, you can't see all of them, but there's actually 5 stripes of the cream color, which I made specifically to represent my 5 children. The original pattern only called for 4 stripes, and I added an extra one, which was also neat that I was able to modify the pattern, having it again be one of the first projects I ever knitted. And so anyway, that shawl is very, special to me, so I will probably always hang on to it, and I can wear it as long as it doesn't touch my neck. So I don't wear it a ton, but I still love it. So anyway, I was thinking that I would have a finished object to share with you all. I thought that I was finished with one of my projects, but I was wearing it is my Stoneham poncho that I've been working on that I made into a sweater. And I thought that, here it is, and I thought that I was all done with it, but I was wearing it this morning, and I decided that the sleeves are too short, about 2 inches too short. And so I am going to, right now it is a finished object, I guess, but it's not how I want it. So I am going to be ripping back the cuffs on this and knitting an extra 2 inches so that it will fit me more comfortably. If I just stand still wearing it, it's great, and if I have the sleeve, I can pull the sleeves down and it seems to fit me well, which is, of course, how I was trying it on as I was knitting it. I wasn't moving around a lot, but now that I had a chance to actually wear it and move around a lot, the sleeves are just uncomfortably short, and I kept pulling on them to try to get them to be the length that I wanted, and of course that's just not how I want it to be. So anyway, if I'm going to make this sweater, I want it to fit me well. That's kind of the point of having hand knit sweaters, is that you can make them to fit you. So anyway, it shouldn't be too terribly hard to rip that back and just add a few extra inches. I think I'm actually going to rip back past the cuff and past the decreases that I made down here at the bottom and knit an extra, knit an extra 2 inches in the, the full width of the sleeve before I then decrease again and add the cuff again. So this is the Stoneham Poncho pattern by Diana Walla, and it, as the name suggests, is supposed to be a poncho, and I just modified the pattern to add sleeves to it. I knit this using my own hand-dyed yarn, Noble Character Crafts yarn, on my Josephine base, which is a DK weight 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. The main black color is my Night colorway. Then the 2 contrast colors are my Sweetness colorway is the speckled one, and the pinkish purple tonal is my Gaze colorway. I knit this, it's knit from the top down, and I started with US 4 3.5 millimeter needles for the ribbing. I went up to a US 8 5 millimeter needle for the color work, and I went down to a US 6 4 millimeter needle for the remainder of the body. It is knit at a gauge of 22 stitches to 4 inches. And the only modification that I made in the color work section was that I eliminated 2 patterns. There was a pattern of these plus signs and a pattern of this checkerboard stripes in between after this section and then at the very bottom, and I took those out just so that I could split for the sleeves a little bit sooner. I didn't want to carry the color work into the sleeves, so I took those out, and then I just knit the body without any shaping at all. I just knit it in the round stockinette, added 3 inches of 2x2 ribbing, and then I picked up for the sleeves and knit those without any decreases as well until I got to right before the cuff, and I just decreased by knitting 2 together all the way around, and I added 3 inches of 2x2 ribbing to the sleeves as well. So like I said, I'm going to be going back and adding some extra length there just so that it will fit me well. But this has been blocked, and I'm really happy with how it is now that it has been blocked. I was, prior to blocking it, a little nervous about the turtleneck section. It kept rolling down, which of course is normal before blocking, and now that it has blocked, it just is so nice. So I think I'll go ahead and try it on for you all just so you can see. I'm very happy with the fit of it except for the sleeves, so I'll go ahead and try it on so you can all see it on. Okay, so here it is on, and yeah, I'm just very pleased with how it fits. I did not do any, there's no difference between the front and the back, and I thought that that would cause a problem with the way that it fits, but it really doesn't. I'm happy with how it fits. There's quite a bit of positive ease through the waist area here, and I really am comfortable with that fit. But as you can see, the sleeves aren't terribly long, and if I pull them down like this is how I was trying it on as I was knitting it to make sure the sleeves would be long enough, and it's fine. But as soon as I start, stretching and moving around, then they go like this, and they're about 2 inches too short. So that really bothers me, and I think I'll be so much happier with it if I just fix it now while it's fresh off the needles. And I've got extra yarn from the project all ready to go and everything, so I'm just going to go ahead and add length to the sleeves, and I'll be a lot happier with it. But other than that, I'm so pleased with how this is fitting and how this turned out. I'm so excited that I was able to modify the pattern. I was nervous that it wouldn't work out, but adding sleeves to this pattern was very simple and worked out wonderfully, really. So this will soon be a finished object, and yeah, I'm very pleased to have gotten as far as I have with this project. So okay, my next work in progress is along the same lines. This is a project that I recently finished, and I am adding length to the sleeves on this project as well. This is the beautiful pattern by Jill Carina called the Cassandra Cardigan, and I test knitted this for her recently, and the pattern is now up on Ravelry, and 100% of the sales for this pattern through the month of March are being donated to a cancer research organization out of Norway. I will put it down below so that you all can reference that. And so I highly encourage you to go check out this pattern if you would like to support that organization, and of course knit this amazingly beautiful pattern. I absolutely love it. I'll just hold it up in case you haven't seen it before so you can kind of get an idea of how it looks. It is a pretty long cardigan and has these fun contrasting pockets on it and the beautiful color work at the top and at the bottom. I really, really love this cardigan so much, but again, I knit the sleeves a little bit too short. I'm going to be adding actually 3 inches of ribbing to the sleeves. So let me show you the first sleeve here. This is the original way that I knit it, and it's about 3 inches too short from where I would like it to sit on my arm. And so I have just on this first or this other sleeve here, I have just started, I ripped out the cast or the bind off edge and just picked up stitches again, and I'm just knitting the 1 by 1 ribbing for a total of 4 inches. The original one was about 1 inch of ribbing, and so I'm going to be doing 4 inches of ribbing to add to the cuffs, and hopefully I will be much happier with the fit of that. I knit this in my own hand-dyed yarn, again, Noble Character Crafts yarn. The 2 colorways that I used are Honor for the main color, and the contrast color is Kindness. And I am right now on the cuffs using a 2.5 3mm needle. So again, this won't be, it's an easy and quick fix, but I think it will make a huge difference to how happy I am with the fit. So I am, it's great that I can customize these sweaters to fit me perfectly. And as I make more, I will hopefully learn how to make them be the right length the first time around, but trial and error, and it's okay. It's an easy fix to add a little bit of length to the sleeve, so I am happy to be able to do that. Okay, on to my other works in progress. The first one is in this beautiful bag from Tanny Casey, and it has this twill and print enamel pin on it that is a row counter. And in here is my Brioche-Luscious shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I am knitting this for a lady at church as a gift for her. And let's see, I'm a little tangled. I'm maybe a lot tangled. Okay. So here it is. It's coming along very nicely. Here is a beautiful progress keeper from Amanda of Little Bitty Delights. And that is marking where I was last week when I recorded. I was able to finish another section of that brioche pattern, and it worked up really nicely. I really enjoyed doing brioche, so that was fun. And I have just started the very last section where I am about to start the applied border. I actually have started the applied border and it was not working out very well, and I had to rip it back. It's pretty tricky for me. Well, it was the first time I tried. I haven't tried it a second time yet, but it was pretty tricky for me to do brioche and adding an applied border with so few stitches when you first start off. When you're adding an applied border, instead of knitting back and forth this way, you cast on some stitches going vertically, and then you start knitting up and down basically. And so I cast on the stitches and I did a few rows, but it was getting so confusing. She suggests in the pattern that you use DPNs so that you can easily slide your stitches back and forth. But I did that. I was trying that, and I was getting the little tiny section that I was knitting all twisted around, and I couldn't really tell which side was which. So anyway, I'm gonna try it again using the regular needles, I think, and see if I can maybe at least make a bigger section before I switch to the DPNs, and then I won't be getting it twisted around itself, maybe. I don't know. I hope it goes better the second time I try, because the first time I tried doing the applied border, it wasn't going well. So I hadn't knit very much. I'd only knit like maybe 4 or 5 rows, and they're real small rows. So it wasn't too much work I'd put into it, but I'm a little bit nervous that I'm not going to be able to figure it out, but I'm going to figure it out. I will. But anyway, I am knitting this all in my own hand-dyed yarn again. I am using 4 different colorways. I am using my Bear Lambs undyed colorway. I'm using my Solid Night colorway, solid black. My Silent colorway, which is a light gray speckled with black, which breaks into different colors. You can see orange and blue there. And also I'm using my Insight colorway, which is a bear yarn that is speckled with black as well. And I love how the monochromatic color scheme in this has knitted up. I just think it's quite striking the way that it looks, so I'm super happy with it. I love the seed stitch. I love the seed stitch sections, and the brioche, of course, is so much fun. So anyway, it's coming along okay. Hopefully I will conquer that applied border this week and continue working on it. I'm just on the last section, so I've got to be able to figure it out. Anyway, I am knitting this on the recommended needle size, which are US 4 3.5 millimeter needles, and all of the needles that I use are Chow-Gu red lace. So I think that is all I have to say for this. I really am nervous that I'm not going to be able to figure that out, but I've got to just conquer it. For my next work in progress, I actually have a half-finished object. These are the Lunenburg County socks, which is a free pattern by Angela Churchill. And I have knit these using, again, my Josephine base, which is DK weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And as you can see, I've just used up a bunch of different scraps that I had. And most of these are repeatable colorways, but a few of them are one of a kind. So this deep pink here and this lighter purple color are both one of a kind colorways. But all the other ones are in my shop. So I've got Choice Silver, Sweetness, Gaze, Enriched, Cold Water, Deep Waters. I think that's it. And so anyway, I'm very, very happy with how this first sock turned out. This is the first time that I have knit a DK weight sock, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to have some thicker socks in my, rotation for socks, and I'm hopeful that these will keep my feet warmer in the winter, as fingering weight socks don't always keep my feet very warm. And it's so nice that these knit up so quickly. That's such a huge bonus. And yeah, I just love ribbed socks for the fit, and it uses a heel flap and a slip stitch heel flap and gusset for the heel, which I love the fit of that as well. So here is the second sock underway, and I am making these socks not to match each other. As you can see, the colors are going to be different, but I'm using all these same colors just in different orders and different lengths of yarn. I'm just trying to keep it random so that I think that'll be fun to have them be really random. It is a 3x1 ribbing for the sock, and I cast on 48 stitches. I am using US 2.75 millimeter needles, and I think I knit about 78 rows, I believe, for the leg. Did the heel flap and gusset, and yeah, so I really like long socks, and I just am hopeful that I'll really love wearing these and that they will wear well since they have that nylon in them. Yeah, I'm really excited about these, and as I've said before, if I do end up liking them, I think I will make a lot of DK weight socks because they knit up so quickly, and I'm hopeful that they'll keep my feet a lot warmer. So anyway, I'm excited about this work in progress as well. Oh, and I am holding this in this super adorable bag from Caroline Watts Embroidery, and I won this from Jules of So Sweet Violet for one of the knit-alongs that she hosted for her Sweet Bee socks that I knitted a while back. My last work in progress is a new cast on, and I am holding it in this cute bag from My Creative Frenzy. And in here I have another pair of colorwork mittens. So I am hoping to be able to participate in the year-long knit-along hosted by Ellie of Skein-Deer Knits. And this is the third pair of colorwork mittens that I am making for this year. The pattern I am making is the Nagu Selbu mittens by Alina Ermis, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry as well. I am using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in Dove Heather and Blossom Heather. And I got these yarns by mistake somehow. I had made an order quite a while back of various colors of Wool of the Andes worsted weight, and along with all my worsted weight were these two random skeins of sport weight. I'm pretty sure I ordered these colorways, but I had thought that I had ordered worsted weight, and somehow I had ordered sport weight accidentally, I guess. But anyway, I have just been hanging on to these and not sure what to make with them, and then I realized that they would be perfect for a pair of colorwork mittens. So I really like those two colors together, and it's not a huge contrast, but I think that the effect is going to be really pretty. So I have not done a ton of work on these yet, but as you can see, I've done the cuff, which was a 2x2 ribbing, I think. Is that right? Yeah, 2x2 ribbing. And there you can see the colors together, and I really like the looks of that so far. The original pattern calls for you to use US 2.75 millimeter needles for the entire mitten, which I thought was strange because the other colorwork mittens that I have made use a tighter or use a smaller needle for the ribbing and then go up to a larger needle for the colorwork section. And I didn't really think that that was going to work out, just to use one needle. I also thought that the US 2 was going to be a little bit too loose. I had looked on a few other project pages for this pattern, and a few people had gone down in needle size, and so I started off using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and that was actually too loose. I went down to a US 0.2 millimeter for the ribbing actually to get a better fit, and I'm really happy with that. But the now that I've gone to the colorwork section, the main body of the mitten, I have gone up to a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and I'm not 100% sure yet if that's going to be the right choice. I may need to go up to a 1.5 or 2 US 1.5 or 2 US 2 needle, because I'm not sure, but that color work might be a little bit tight. I'm going to knit it for a little bit longer before I decide, you know, because you do want the mitten, the hand of the mitten to be a tight gauge. You want it to be a good fit. I mean, I don't want it to be too loose, so I might like it. I'm just not 100% sure yet. You can't see much of the design working up yet here, but here is a picture of the mitten. And I think that that pattern is so pretty, and I really think it's gonna be beautiful in these colors, so I'm excited for that. The gauge for these is knit at 32 stitches to 4 inches, which I thought was strange because the two pairs of fingering weight colorwork mittens were both knit at that gauge as well. So I thought that since I was using a thicker weight that the gauge would be a little bit looser, but it's the same. So I don't know, we'll see how this works up as I am able to make it or continue to work on it. We'll see how the fit is. I am really excited though to continue working on colorwork mittens. I'm really enjoying them, and yeah, hopefully I will just continue to work on them all year round. That's my goal anyway. So the last thing I have to share with you all is a set of yarn from my Etsy shop. Every time I record a podcast, I like to share a set of yarn that I think works well together for a project. And this week I have this set of yarn, which I'm so excited about. I love these colors together. And one of these colorways is new and very special, and that is this one right here. This is called my Relief colorway. And I dyed this up especially to raise money for the American Red Cross in response to the flooding in Nebraska. So I dyed this up inspired by, the deep blue representing the floodwaters, but the rainbow of speckles to represent the hope that we have for relief from this tragedy as we work together to help each other out. So I am very, very excited about this, and 100% of the sales from this colorway are going to be donated to the American Red Cross, and I have already had so much incredible response to this colorway, so much support of this colorway, and I cannot thank you all enough for all of the love and support that you have shown in helping me to raise money to give back to the American Red Cross. So thank you so much to everybody that has supported this effort, and I'm just so thrilled that I can help out in my small way. So I haven't explained in a while on this podcast yet about my business name and how I name my colorways, but my business is Noble Character Crafts, based off of Proverbs 31, which talks about the wife of noble character, and in that proverb, it talks about how she selects wool and works with eager hands. And so that's the inspiration behind my business. And then each of my colorways are named from a psalm or proverb. This colorway was inspired from Psalm 4, verse 1, which says, "You have given me relief when I was in distress." So I thought that was quite fitting for the colorway and the inspiration behind it, and of course, the purpose of the colorway in trying to help those that are in distress right now. And then the two other colorways that I chose to go along with it are my new forest colorway. It's pretty new, and it's just this nice deep evergreen solid, semi-solid color. And also my gaze colorway, which you saw in my Stoneham poncho. And I absolutely love this colorway. It's one of my favorites. This nice, deep, rich, pinkish purple tonal as well. I thought those three worked well together, just to give you an idea of the different colorways that I have in my shop and what works well together. The relief colorway actually goes with so many other solids in my shop. There is the hot pink, which I have my confidence colorway, which would match that beautifully. There's some deep red speckles in here. Let's see if I can find a spot. There's some deep red, which my scarlet colorway works well with. The orange would go well with the bold as a lion colorway. There are gold speckles in there, which would go with my fine gold colorway. Of course, my deep navy, deep waters colorway would work well. I've got some purple colors in my shop. For example, Dignity would work well with this as well. So anyway, there's a lot of other colorways, solid colorways especially, that would work really well with this. I've got a light blue cold water colorway that would work well with this as well. So there's tons of options to go with this, since it has so many fun speckles in it as well. So anyway, all of my colorways are available on all 9 of my bases in my shop at all times, and so I just like to be able to share with you all a few of the colorways that I have to offer in my shop each time I podcast. We've had a great week here. The weather has continued to be wonderful and springy. Spring has definitely come, and I'm so grateful. The kids are so grateful to be able to get out and play so much, which is just awesome. And I am so grateful that we're done with winter, even though I love it, but I'm glad I'm done with it for now. I'll be anxious to have it come back in, at the end of the year again, but I am so thankful that we're into spring and are able to get outdoors so much more. It just makes such a huge difference for the kids to be able to burn off their energy. I have just been shocked by how much energy the kids have as they're playing outside, and thinking about how much they had to bottle that up all winter long, because they're just outside all afternoon, every day, running and screaming endlessly. I'm shocked that they don't get tired and worn out, but they don't. And I'm just incredibly impressed, I guess, with how well they had contained that energy all winter long, being stuck in the house for the majority of the time. So anyway, I'm very grateful for them to be able to get out and play, and it's wonderful. So Anyway, I hope that you all have had a great week, and I hope you all have a great week ahead. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this podcast, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. I would appreciate that so much. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.